Tonight on NewsWatch, tax cut showdown. House Democrats promise to oppose the president's plan. The White House now scrambling to find support.
Plus, homegrown terror, 6 busted plots this year. What's the connection and how is the government planning to stop it?
And staying young, tips for turning back the clock without surgery. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. President Obama's tax cut deal hits a major setback. Good evening, I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. Today, House members of the president's own party rejected the agreement. The Bush tax cuts will expire in just weeks, raising taxes on nearly every American. The House and Senate appear to be on a collision course, but the White House is confident the deal with Republicans will pass. Paul Strand has more from Washington in tonight's top story.
President Obama has a tough sell with the liberal Democrats, who are usually his allies. The House Democrats have met together and voted against taking up the deal on Bush-era tax breaks as it stands now.
We will not bring it to the floor in its current form. We were told yesterday by the Vice President this was a take-it-or-leave-it deal. We're saying leave it.
But with many economists suggesting this deal could be much more stimulative than the actual stimulus package of Obama's early White House days, other Democrats and many Republicans say it's time to back it.
This agreement would boost economic growth in the coming years and has the potential to create millions of jobs. The average American family will start 2011 knowing that there will be more money to pay the bills each month.
We've reached a bipartisan agreement. It's time Democrats in Congress reach a similar conclusion and enable us to act for the good of the whole country.
But those angry Democrats feel the president caved on accepting tax breaks for the well-to-do and wealthy, and many may rebel.
But I have to tell you something. It's only going to get worse for the president if he allows himself to be pushed around by this with deals like this.
The White House says if lawmakers aren't willing to start talking compromise, most Americans' taxes are going to end up taking a big leap next year.
If one side takes out what they don't like and the other side takes out what they don't like, we're going to have that. And that, a blank piece of paper, is not going to prevent middle-class tax rates from going up.
Many economists feel this deal could add as much as 1% to economic growth next year. Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
The Senate, for now, has tabled the controversial DREAM Act. That's the immigration bill that would create a path to citizenship for foreign-born children in the U.S. Democrats want to advance the bill but failed to secure enough votes. Many Republicans oppose the measure, saying it's a backdoor to amnesty and rewards illegal behavior.
Another month, another Muslim extremist arrested for plotting a terrorist attack on U.S. soil. First, it was the Somali teen accused of trying to bomb a Christmas tree ceremony in Portland. Now it's a young Muslim accused of plotting an attack on military recruiting centers in Maryland. Heather Sells has the story.
That's scary. It's hitting really close to home.
The FBI says Antonio Martinez, who now calls himself Mohammed Hussein, wanted to strike at the U.S. military because he believes it's waging a war on Muslims. But the recent Muslim convert did not realize his fellow plotters turned out to be FBI agents. They supplied him with the fake car bomb he tried to blow up at a military recruitment center. The bombing attempt and subsequent arrest of Martinez in Catonsville, Maryland, outside Baltimore, surprised those working and living around the center.
You could see, I don't know if they set off a flashbang or something, because you heard the loud bang and there was a little bit of smoke, and all you could see was kind of like scattered FBI agents running all around.
Our goal is to deter people from planning schemes like this one and from trying to recruit other people to participate in schemes like this one.
Pat Brubeck of Catonsville is happy Martinez was found out, but now wonders
how many more is out there that they're not catching.
My assessment is that the threat environment now is increasingly active.
Homeland Security Chief Janet Napolitano says this arrest, and one last month in Oregon, shows the plots are no longer just hatched overseas and imported, but now there's
an increasing amount of hometown or homegrown terrorist activity, particularly by individuals who have become radicalized and associated with Al-Qaeda or Islamist terrorism beliefs and techniques and tactics.
Heather Sells, CBN News.
CBN News terrorism analyst Eric Stackelbeck is following the story from Washington. Eric, the suspect is reportedly a follower of Anwar al-Awlaki. Once again, we're seeing this link. Is he the most influential Islamic terrorist in the world now?
Mark, absolutely. Anwar al-Awlaki has surpassed Osama bin Laden even as the most influential Islamic jihadist in the world. Now, as you know, Mark, I investigate many of these homegrown jihad cases for CBN News, and I can tell you there's a similar pattern. In every case I investigate, Anwar al-Awlaki serves as inspiration for the would-be terrorist. Everyone from the Fort Hood shooter, the underwear bomber, the Times Square bomber, and beyond, Anwar al-Awlaki serves as their inspiration. He is fluent in English, Mark. He was born here in America, educated here in America, knows our culture, knows our language. That's what enables him to connect with young American Muslims, and that's why he's so dangerous.
Now, the Baltimore suspect targeted a military recruiting center. Why is that significant to the overall strategy of the terrorists?
Well, Mark, I talked about al-Awlaki being a pattern in all the homegrown jihad cases I investigate. Military recruitment centers, U.S. military targets, be it installations here or overseas, are another recurring theme in these homegrown jihad cases. The reason they're so appealing to the terrorist, Mark, is because they see the U.S. military in their eyes as kind of the symbol of American aggression, of Western imperialism, as crusader aggression against the Muslim world, the occupier of Muslim lands. This is a kind of rhetoric al-Qaeda and their followers use, so to see a U.S. Army installation in their backyard is a very appealing target to strike at the heart of, as they call it, Mark, the Zionist occupier, the American military.
Now, we heard Janet Napolitano earlier. Do you think the Obama administration really gets this homegrown terrorist threat?
Well, Mark, they know that there's a homegrown terrorist threat. They get that. It's obvious. We've had dozens and dozens of arrests on American soil over the past 2 years. But what they don't get, Mark, and which is very important, they don't get the ideology behind the terrorism, what motivates the terrorist, what is motivating homegrown terrorism, and it's real simple. It's Islamic ideology, Islamic teachings that is inspiring these young terrorists. As a few economists said a few years ago, Mark, they made a lot of money saying it's the economy, stupid. Well, when it comes to Islamic terrorism, it's the ideology, stupid. That's my message to the U.S. government. Right now, they don't get it. It is jihad ideology. Read the Quran, U.S. government. That's my message.
Okay, Eric, as always, thanks for your insight and for keeping us in the loop.
Thank you, Mark.
Well, cold weather is slamming the country from the Midwest to the South. Farmers are scrambling to save their crops, and it's even worse overseas. The cold and snow are so bad in Britain, they might have to postpone Christmas. John Jessup has the story.
It's been a rough week for Americans from the Great Lakes down to Georgia and even Florida.
Makes me want to cry.
In Cleveland, an early winter snowstorm this week paralyzed the city.
I'll be home in a few hours, honey. Bye. An hour and 38 minutes to go black and a half.
Less snow fell in Georgia, but residents aren't as used to it, especially not in December when temperatures usually hover in the 50s and 60s. This year, temperatures are dropping into the 20s at night. In Florida, farmers are counting their losses after being hit with a frost.
It was supposed to be a nice winter, a warmer one than last year. Unfortunately, we're seeing it early in the year, which is not good for us.
They're doing everything they can to protect their crops. In Palm Beach County, Florida, 3 helicopters crashed in a matter of hours while flying over fields in an effort to keep frost from landing on plants. Some farmers say they can't afford another extreme winter.
Last year we lost about 70% of our crops.
In parts of Europe, it's more of the same, if not worse. In England, it was the second coldest first week in December since the UK started keeping records in 1659. The cold, combined with heavy snow, has snarled travel plans. 13 people have died as a result of the weather.
Well, it's been a nightmare moving really slow everywhere. Trying to find somewhere to stop. All the hotels are booked. Nobody's taking any bookings.
Now forecasters warn the UK may have to postpone Christmas. Officials say celebrations may have to wait until the week after Christmas because safety comes first. The sudden extreme change of weather is taking its toll on some wildlife, too. Along the North Carolina coast, the Sea Turtle Hospital is tending to turtles who need help warming up.
It's probably a quick
of reluctance plus just inexperience that causes them to not go when the water temperature drops as suddenly as this.
Even Cancun, Mexico, which is hosting the World Conference on Global Warming, is also experiencing record cold. The temperature dipped to 54 degrees earlier this week, breaking a 100-year record. John Jessup, CBN News.
British lawmakers approved a controversial plan today to triple university tuition. Thousands of angry students took to the streets to protest. In London, police in riot gear struggled to control a mob rampaging outside of Parliament Square. Demonstrations and sit-ins were held throughout the country. The tuition hike is part of a plan to cut spending and reduce Britain's massive budget deficit.
Well, just one puff on a cigarette can trigger a heart attack and can cause damage to nearly every organ in your body. That's the warning in a new government report. There are 7,000 chemicals released in just one puff. That's right, 7,000. And tobacco smoke begins poisoning the body immediately. Even social smoking and breathing secondhand smoke could be enough to trigger a heart attack. The Surgeon General says kicking the habit will cause the body to start healing immediately, so it's never too late to quit.
Coming up, he survived the bloody massacre of millions. This man's quest to return home and heal a nation.
If you have Medicare, you may have questions.
Do you have the right Medicare health plan? Are you saving money? Are you with a company you can rely on?
Now you can get answers to these important questions in this free, fact-filled booklet, Living Better with Medicare. It's your guide to Humana Medicare Advantage plans. And it's yours just by calling 1-877-323-3703 or visiting us online at humanaanswers.com.
With a Humana plan, you get both medical and prescription drug coverage from one of the nation's leading health benefits companies. And you're covered when you see your doctor or specialist, or even if you have to go to the hospital. Humana plans cover many preventive services such as mammograms and prostate exams.
And best of all, Humana Medicare Advantage plans have an affordable monthly health plan premium, or even no plan premium in some areas, so costs are easy to budget. You can get all the facts in this free booklet, Living Better with Medicare. Just call 1-877-323-3703 or go online to humanaanswers.com.
With a Humana plan, you get more. Extras like a fitness center membership and a 24-hour nurse advice line. There's even a prescription home delivery service that's going to save you money and trips to the pharmacy.
To find out if you have the right Medicare health plan, you need to get the facts and learn about the Humana Medicare Advantage plan. Don't put this off. The call and the book are free and there's no obligation. That number again is 1-877-323-3703 or go to humanaanswers.com. Call or go online now for the free booklet so you can get the facts and start living better with a Humana Medicare Advantage plan. Just call 1-877-323-3703.
The African nation of Sudan is preparing for a crucial vote next month.
The outcome could mean independence for the South or a return to the bloody civil war that killed millions in the 80s and 90s. One victim of that war is doing all he can to help his country move forward. Here's Charlene Israel.
When Joseph Ding was just 10 years old, something happened that he will never forget.
Sound like fireworks, and that's what I knew that something was wrong. When the war comes, it destroys everything.
A member of the Dinka tribe in southern Sudan, he is one of the lost boys, one of the refugees of a civil war that forced thousands of teens and children into exile, left as orphans. Homes were burned, adults were murdered, and girls and young women were raped and enslaved. Muslims killed Christians. Hundreds in Joseph's tribe lost their lives. He and about 20,000 boys were forced to live on their own. They hoped to get help from Ethiopia, some 1,000 miles away. So they started walking. That walk lasted months, and thousands died along the way. CBN News senior reporter Gary Lane reported extensively on the story of the lost boys of Sudan.
but the ones I ran into had just been wandering for months in the bush in South Sudan, and they were there at a feeding center. So the conditions, many of them very thin, very malnourished, and just looking for something to eat.
Joseph survived and eventually came to America. Today, he works as a nurse in St. Petersburg, Florida. He is determined to return to his homeland to help others.
If I don't do anything to help the people of Southern Sudan, or I cannot help myself, why God save me? I have to give back.
He has made 3 trips so far and hopes to open a clinic in Southern Sudan to help villagers with basic health care needs.
Just one packet of Imodium, it will save like 5 lives.
Gary says many of the boys are believers but are reluctant to return home.
Many of their family members have been killed, their homes are gone, and there's poverty there and a very difficult situation in South Sudan. So many of them have chosen to remain in the United States. Some have been here for more than 10 years, and they're U.S. citizens. So you choose the prosperity and the success in the United States compared to the poverty and hardship in Sudan. What would you choose?
Now there's uncertainty that the fragile peace will hold, and some fear that war could again break out between North and South.
There's a key vote coming up on January 9th, and many people believe the Southern Sudanese will vote to secede from the North. If they do that, many people feel that the North will go back to war again with the South, because all the oil wealth is in the South, and many believe that the North will not allow them to leave and take that wealth with them. So there could be a return to violence.
For now, there's hope that the 2 sides can resolve their differences and prevent another generation of lost boys. Charlene Israel, CBN News.
Up next, reducing wrinkles without emptying your wallets. Get celebrity secrets for turning back the clock.
CBNNews.com. News you want, when you want, 24/7. Stay current with up-to-the-minute stories.
David Brody, CBN News, Capitol Hill.
I don't have to wait for my news anymore. CBNNews.com at your fingertips all day long.
I only watch the stories I want to see. I find the story, I click on it, and boom, I'm there.
I'm Chris Mitchell reporting from Jerusalem.
The source for your news, CBNNews.com.
From C.S. Lewis's epic masterpiece,
Aslan.
In your world, I have another name. You must learn to know me by it. Tomorrow, a journey to save Narnia will test their faith. We have nothing if not belief. Challenge their courage.
The fate of Narnia depends on you.
For Narnia! And become the greatest adventure yet.
I shall be watching you always. Don't run from who you are.
The Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Directed by Michael Apted. Rated PG. Advance tickets now on sale.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, call now for a new pain-free meter. These new meters are more accurate, they're easier to use, and the best news is you don't have to prick your fingers anymore. Call now and Arriva Medical will send you one of these new meters for free. And if you have Medicare, your testing supplies may also be covered. Arriva makes it simple. They bill Medicare directly. There are no upfront costs. And they deliver your supplies right to your door for free. With these new meters, there's no coding, you don't have to prick your fingers, and some of these meters even talk.
Your blood glucose reading is 122.
And if you call 1-800-284-9762, we will send you a free Betty Crocker Diabetes Cookbook filled with delicious recipes.
Call Arriva today. You'd be glad you did.
From C.S. Lewis's epic masterpiece,
Aslan.
In your world, I have another name. You must learn to know me by it.
Tomorrow, a journey to save Narnia will test their faith. We have nothing if not belief. Challenge their courage.
The fate of Narnia depends on you.
For Narnia! And become the greatest adventure yet.
I shall be watching you always. Don't run from who you are.
The Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Directed by Michael Apted. Rated PG. Advance tickets now on sale.
Well, Well, we all want to look our best, of course, but that gets a little more challenging as we age.
So how can you beat the clock without needles, surgery, or spending that much money? Lori Johnson brings us the answers in tonight's Focus Report.
Beautiful, youthful skin. Red carpet celebrities get to show it off, and we can too. And we can forget the facelift. That's the title of the book written by a doctor who treats famous faces.
I'm here on the Upper East Side of New York City at the office of Dr. Doris Day, dermatologist to the stars. And although money is no object for most of her patients, she says there are anti-aging tips for people on any budget.
Topping the list, avoid the sun. Yes, you get vitamin D, but it's also the #1 cause of old-looking skin. So get your D from a bottle and cover up. Stay in the shade or wear sunscreen with UVB and UVA protection.
The great thing about sunscreen is that there's something for everyone. So if you have sensitive skin, oily skin, dry skin, if it's on your face or your body or your right ring finger, you know, there's a sunscreen for every part of your body, for every skin type.
Although sunscreens have improved, research shows people don't use them properly.
Do you wear sunscreen?
No, I don't. Usually, not always.
At the beach? Only at the beach?
Pretty much only at the beach.
How often do you put it on?
Once.
I put it on once a day.
Now here's what you should do. You have to put on plenty of sunscreen or you'll only get half or less of the sun protection listed on the label. And it should be reapplied every 2 hours, more if you're swimming or sweating.
Every time we go in the sun, we accumulate skin damage. Young people especially need to know that the number of rays they're soaking up now will be the number of wrinkles they'll be wearing in the future. Because sun damage doesn't wear off, instead it builds up over time.
And tanning beds are just as bad.
1 million people go to tanning salons every day, and the majority of those are teenage girls. And it's just damaging for your skin. It's the worst thing you could do for your skin.
Right behind it, smoking, which breaks down collagen and elastin, making skin saggy and wrinkly. Alcohol and junk food also wreak havoc on your skin. Too much salt leads to puffy bags under the eyes. Processed foods, especially sweets, dull your skin's appearance.
Sugar is really unhealthy for your skin because it is something called pro-inflammatory. And when we talk about oxidation, inflammation, glycemic index, all of these are things that affect your metabolism, that affect skin cell turnover, and can be very aging.
But a good diet can turn back the clock. Load up on omega-3s found in things like salmon, flaxseed, and walnuts. Free radical-fighting antioxidants are in most fresh vegetables and fruits, especially berries, green tea, coffee, and dark chocolate. And drink lots of water, a pitcher a day, avoiding all other beverages, even fruit juice.
Fruit juice is sugar water. So I'm not a big juice person. I think as much as possible, have regular water, have the whole fruit. If you're going to have fruit juice, if you like that, or if you want to give fruit juice to your children, make it half water, half juice. And don't get them used to having things that are sweet.
Exfoliating creates a youthful glow by sloughing off the dry, dead cells on the skin's outer layer, revealing the fresher, younger cells beneath. But just do it once a week. Retinoids, often called retinol, are clinically proven wrinkle reducers. The topical vitamin A derivative is contained in many over-the-counter products. You can get a stronger prescription formula from your doctor. And studies show that people who exercise have firmer skin because working out infuses skin with oxygen and nutrients needed for collagen production. And it reduces the aging effects of stress. And finally, get your Z's. It's called beauty sleep for a reason.
You can actually have a home makeover without doing anything but actually getting 8 hours of sleep a night for a week, a whole week straight. And it really helps to have a routine, to go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning when possible.
So by getting rid of bad habits and adopting good ones, we can all look younger and be much healthier to boot. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Finding video on CBN.com just got easier. We've taken all our video, the 700 Club, news, testimonies, teachings, plus our 24/7 channels, and put them in one convenient location, CBN TV. Watch what you want, when you want. It's all simple to find, and now easier than ever to email a story to a friend. CBN TV on CBN.com.
From C.S. Lewis's epic masterpiece.
Aslan.
In your world, I have another name. You must learn to know me by it. Tomorrow, a journey to save Narnia will test their faith. We have nothing, if not belief. Challenge their courage.
The fate of Narnia depends on you.
For Narnia! And become the greatest adventure yet.
I shall be watching you always. Don't run from who you are.
The Chronicles of Narnia. The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Directed by Michael Apted. Rated PG. Advance tickets now on sale.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, call now for a new pain-free meter. These new meters are more accurate, they're easier to use, and the best news is you don't have to prick your fingers anymore. Call now and Arriva Medical will send you one of these new meters for free. And if you have Medicare, your testing supplies may also be covered. Arriva makes it simple. They bill Medicare directly. There are no upfront costs. And they deliver your supplies right to your door for free. With these new meters, there's no coding, you don't have to prick your fingers, and some of these meters even talk.
Your blood glucose reading is 122.
And if you call 1-800-284-9762, we will send you a free Betty Crocker Diabetes Cookbook filled with delicious recipes.
Call Arriva today. You'd be glad you did.
From C.S. Lewis's epic masterpiece.
Aslan.
In your world, I have another name. You must learn to know me by it.
Tomorrow, a journey to save Narnia will test their faith. We have nothing, if not belief. Challenge their courage.
The fate of Narnia depends on you.
For Narnia! And become the greatest adventure yet.
I shall be watching you always. Don't run from who you are.
The Chronicles of Narnia. The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Directed by Michael Apted. Rated PG. Advance tickets now on sale.
Well, it's a real-life Lassie story.
A man's dog stays by his side after a freak accident, barking for help. Paul Horton was on a bike ride when his dog Yogi, that is, when he misjudged a jump from the trail to a paved road. It's a jump he's made hundreds of times, but this time something went wrong, and he flew over the handlebars and landed on his head. He was instantly paralyzed, and that's when his dog went into action, running up and down the road and getting the attention of people walking by.
I expected him to behave like Lassie and run down to the police station and tap out my location in Morse code or something.
But somebody who cannot move, who cannot ask for help, you can develop a pressure ulcer, you can develop an infection, you can develop a clot, and you can die if you're not rescued soon.
He's my hero. I mean, he's my hero. It's possible that if he had not done what he did, they would have walked right on by and gone down the road, and there's no telling when somebody else would have come by.
Wow, what a dog. Horton is still in rehab. He now has some movement like you saw there in his arms, hands, and upper body. Boy, that dog's a keeper, Wendy.
You got that right. Isn't it amazing that dogs are so much smarter than we know?
I know. They're so loyal, too.
So amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's all for this edition of Newswatch.
Thanks again for watching, and we hope you have a great day.
Bye-bye.